because we are reviewing Ready to Love. It's a special on TV exclusive clip that they just dropped, and it is a date with Lee and Chris. It is the date I've been waiting for. If you guys have been watching me all season long, you have known that the date I've really been wanting to see is the date between Chris and Lee, because somehow I felt like maybe they could be a match. We knew Chris wanted a woman with a lot of less softer energy than Jessica was giving him. And we knew that Lee barely talks. So we was thinking that this could be a very good match, but we never did see it in any of the episodes. And finally, they released it on this special exclusive on TV on their YouTube channel. I don't know why we didn't see this during the regular episode. I don't know how the producers, the editors, pick and choose what dates they want to show us, but they really do need to start showing us more of the dates we want to see and less of the ones we want to see. We've seen a whole lot of dates with Marie, and as y'all know, I don't like Marie. They dropped another clip of Marie's date too with Jessica. It's an extended version. So there were some things he talked about in that video clip where he was explaining more his religious or spiritual journey. I'm gonna need some of y'all to go over there and look at that clip, because I'm not gonna do it here on this video, because like I said before in my comments, I'm sick of Marie and I'm sick of deciphering his lies. But I know a lot of y'all who watch my channel are very spiritual. You have a lot of knowledge about the Bible, spirituality. You guys were the ones who told me last week that some of the poses that you do in yoga is like worshiping Buddhist gods or something, gods with a little G. And I didn't know that. I thought some of them were just stretching. Some of them are stretching from what I've been told, but some of them are specifically in worship to a G-O-D with the little G gods. So I appreciate the education. Like, you know, y'all, I always like to be educated. So I'm going to need some of you guys to go on over there and watch the clip on TV. It's an extended clip of the date with Marie and what he did with Jessica and Meet the Friends. And I want you to hear Mario's explanation of his spiritual journey. And I want you guys to tell me, is he Christian? I'm going to need y'all to tell me, because once again, I told you, I'm tired of deciphering Mario's lies. But he said he was going to be a preacher. But then he said he went on a spiritual journey and he learned that his Christian teachings wasn't the end all to be all. So I'm thinking, does that mean you're not a Christian? You may be spiritual, but does that mean you're not a Christian? So y'all go over there, you experts, go over there, please listen to it and come back here, drop down in my comments and let me know what you think of Mario's new explanation of his spiritual journey. And is this just another one of the inconsistencies that Mario's been talking about all season long? But okay, let's get going on this video that we're going to watch. This is going to be a date breakdown video, as y'all know. I play parts of the video and then we talk about it. But like I said, you can always go over to OWN TV and watch the full broken up what I'm doing here. And then you can come back here and listen to my video if you want to. But let's get going and let's look at it, because I'm excited. I'm excited. I kind of want to say a little prayer right now, right before we get started, because all Lee's dates have been horrible. And I just really want her to have a good date. And of all the matches, this is the one I thought, I don't know why I thought it could work, except when I saw her on Crystal XO and she told Crystal XO that her concern with Chris was that he couldn't lead. So let's go ahead and see what we see.
I'm really excited for Muffin to meet Chris. I really want Muffin to just put these guys under a microscope and see if there's any small reason why one might be the better choice over the other.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to stop it right there. Of course, Lee looks beautiful. She always got her little sassy walk, and we see Muffin is back. Woo! Muffin is back. Now, Muffin was on this last episode, and I wasn't a fan of Muffin. If you saw my last video, I basically called a Muffin, she ain't no real friend. She is not a real friend, because she was over there throwing more looks and more hugs and more compliments to Quentin than Lee was. But I got on Lee because Lee doesn't open up her mouth. So here, once again, Lee is coming in to say she wants some advice from Muffin to pick out even the smallest little thing. Did you get that from Lee? She said, I want you to pick out the smallest little thing, not the big things. She said, I want you to look at him under a microscope and pick out the smallest little thing that might either make him go to the top or make him go to the bottom. So let's see what Muffin's got to say.
The reason why you're here today.
I can't have no more surprises.
Get ready.
Okay, that's interesting to hear when she says she doesn't want any more surprises. I'm wondering if Muffin didn't know that Lee was on this show, and Lee called at the last minute and said, hey, I've been on this show, Ready to Love. I'm gonna need you to come on the show and vet these men for me. And Muffin is like, what? I didn't know you was on no show. I didn't know you signed up for no show, because she's talking about any more surprises. And I'm wondering if this came after or before the date where Muffin met Quentin. I'm wondering if this is after she met Quentin and that was a surprise, or if this is before. I don't know. You guys kind of know more about the order of some of these clips. But she does say she's tired of the surprises. So somehow or another, once again, Lee ain't communicating. I told y'all Lee was the worst communicator. I told you in my last video that Lee was the worst communicator, but yet she complains about everybody else's communication, but yet she's the worst communicator. And here Muffin is saying, I don't need no more surprises, basically saying, you don't communicate well. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, come on.
I want you to meet Chris.
Okay.
He does real estate development.
I'm sold. Where is he?
What? She said she was sold just because he does real estate development. Where is he? She act like Lee was hooking her up. She act like, hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. His name is Chris. He does real estate development. She's like, oh, I'm sold. Where is he? Bring him on in. I want him. Woo, Muffin ain't no friend. Muffin is on here looking for a man for herself. Muffin is on here looking for a man for herself. Maybe because she knows her friend Lee really is very picky and don't know how to get no man. And so maybe Muffin knows that Lee might can attract the man, but she can't keep him. And so Muffin may know that, hey, Lee can be the person who brings the men on over with her fine body. And then Muffin, what she does is she ends up being the one that actually ends up having the good conversation with the man. And maybe she even ends up going off and dating the man. They might come over to him. You know, like when two girls go out, maybe the woman who draws the men over to the group is Lee, okay, because she's pretty and she's got a nice body. But once the men get over there, Lee don't have nothing to talk about, no personality, nothing. And then what Muffin does is Muffin's more charismatic. She's a talker. She likes to have a good time. And then next thing you know, the men aren't looking at Lee anymore. They're looking at Muffin. That's what I'm going to think.
Week and I have this date with Lee. Lee is somebody that I do want to get to know even more. So I don't know what friends she's gonna bring, but I'm open to whatever they ask me.
I'm gonna say Chris always looks good when he walks in the room. He always looks good when he walks into the room. And lo and behold, they dressed alike. They both got on blue jeans and a pink top. So they come in here looking like twins. The princess and the prince. The princess and the prince are finally on a date. Prince, what's his prince name from Nigeria? Don't they give them a special name? I wonder what Chris's special prince name is from Nigeria, because I want to start calling him that.
How you doing?
Look what we have here.
How you doing?
I know. Okay.
Oh my God, what? First of all, I was about to stop the video and talk about that lukewarm hug that Lee gave. She stood up, she gave him a hug, but her left arm was darn near limp. She barely touched him with it. It was not a warm embrace. You know what? I'm a big stickler for your greetings. Does she like him? Does she like him? Because she doesn't show any level of really liking him for some reason. It's weird. But yet we see Muffin get up and she gives him a full on embrace and says, oh, I know him. I know Chris, which tells us that Lee has not communicated to Muffin what she's been doing. That's what it tells us. Because if they're really good friends and Lee has been communicating with Muffin, I would think that Muffin knows by now that she's on the show. She's been dating this guy named Chris. She should have told him about Chris, and then Muffin would have been like, dang, I think I know him. So once again, the great communicator who is Lee has done zero communication, which means she ain't that great. Let's keep going.
We're in the industry together.
When I walked in, I instantly was excited because I saw Muffin, and I haven't seen her in 10 to 12 years. Other when she was doing hairstyling, and I was a model at the time, so it felt really good to see her.
Okay, so they really do know each other. So they know each other from Chris used to model. I did not know Chris used to be a model. Did he tell us that in the season? I didn't know that he used to be a model. This is actually kind of making a lot more sense to me. So Chris, I'm telling you, Chris is a sharp dresser. He's pristine. Chris knows that he looks good. Chris likes a lot of attention. Like that ex-girlfriend told him, you're going to need to wait on him hand and foot. You're going to need to be at his beck and call. Chris knows that out here in the streets, there's a lot of women that fall over him. And I think he knows that walking down the street, he captures a lot of women's eyes. And now we know that he used to be a model, or he does model. And all of this is really, really adding up to who I see Chris is. Maybe that's why some of these women are a little bit miffed of why Chris doesn't chase him so hard. Because Chris is probably used to women chasing him. Chris is used to women falling at his feet, and he probably doesn't feel as if he has to do the type of real hunting that a lot of these women wanted him to do. And maybe that's the reason why some of them be getting upset with him. Maybe that's why.
Be a little biased, y'all. But it makes sense because it's like he's literally like the guy version of you, I swear.
Wow.
Like fitness, career driven, like family oriented, like this.
Okay, so she said that he is the guy version of her. I believe that Lee has an air of arrogance to her. I believe that Lee gets offended when a guy doesn't just outwardly choose her or she's the best. I do. I think you've seen that multiple times in her dates with Christopher. You've now seen it with Quentin. You've seen everything. You've seen this air of arrogance. It's almost like, how dare you choose another woman over me? How dare you not call me when I've given you my number? It's an air of arrogance to her. We are good looking people out here in the world. So on the food chain of looks, we're high up there. And we're used to people coming to us, and we're not going to be really the type of person that's going to need to do a whole lot to chase you, because we're used to people chasing us because of our looks. Now, the problem with Lee is at least Chris got some conversation. At least he has some conversation, and I've seen him put forth some effort, especially when he had that date with Aries. He's put forth a lot of effort. He's even done some nice things for Jessica as well. Lee, on the other hand, her air of arrogance really hasn't made her do much at all. She barely even talks. So there doesn't come much action with Lee's air of arrogance. So let's keep going.
I don't know, because I told you, he backed down from that connection a little bit, trying to give other people like a chance.
And I can explain myself because...
What? Did you just hear what she said? That's what I'm talking about, the air of arrogance. So here Muffin was, okay, trying to sell Lee on Chris. So first of all, she's supposed to be here selling Chris on Lee. But what she's actually doing is she's trying to sell Lee on Chris. That tells you something. That tells you as a friend, what she knows is Lee is very picky, and Lee complains about a lot of men. Because what she's doing right away is she's not trying to sell Chris on Lee. She's trying to sell Lee on Chris and saying, give him a chance. I can vouch for him. He's a good guy. He's one of the good ones out here. You should give him a chance. Because I think what she knows about her friend Lee is picky, and Lee complains about a lot of people. That's what I believe. I'm telling you, there's a snobbiness to Lee. And now what Lee just said is Lee says, well, I don't know if that's the case, that we're the same person or whatever else, because he's over here entertaining other women, and I don't do that. What? Once again, it is a superiority complex of Lee. And what she was saying was, and she looked at the camera. Did y'all see when she looked at the camera? She looked at the camera to make sure everybody heard and saw what she was saying was, he was over here giving other women a chance. She must be talking about Aries and Jessica. And he kind of pulled away from her, giving everybody else a chance. Well, maybe he pulled away from her because she's boring and has no conversation. You see, maybe he was interested in Lee at first. Maybe he really did connect with her first. But then there was nothing in between here, nothing else, nothing, no conversation, no nothing. And so what he started doing was expanding his options and saying, well, maybe I ought to go over here and talk to Aries. Maybe I ought to go here and talk to Jessica as well. And he backed up a little bit, but maybe he backed up because of what he found out about Lee. Lee has an air of arrogance and a snobbery to her where she believes that, hey, all eyes on me. Well, maybe if you're out in the real dating world, a man just wants to date you, okay, but you're in a dating show. This is a dating show with other people on the show, and what's wrong with him looking at other people? In fact, she criticized Christopher for that when Christopher was saying that she thought she was locked down with Quentin. And she would say, well, this is a dating show. You're still supposed to be shooting your shot. Well, that's what Chris is doing. He's shooting his shot at a lot of other women. But here is Lee, once again, taking offense for it. And even though her friend Muffin is trying to sell her on Chris, she's shooting Muffin down and saying, well, I don't know about that. Lee is her own worst enemy. Lee is her own worst enemy in dating. She need a slice of humble pie. That's what the old people used to say. She needs a slice of some humble pie. I see now why Quentin ghosted her. I'm telling you, Quentin ghosted her to teach her a lesson and to show her that you're not all that. You are not all that. You are not all that interesting. And I don't want to talk on the phone with you because you're not even interested in person. And Lee is over here running around. Everybody should have all eyes on her, all ears on her, but she done got nothing to talk about. I thought this day was going to be better, but already here I am in the butt of Lee. I'm already in her butt. Let me give her more of a chance. Let's keep going.
Multiple people.
Okay.
I just can't.
We love that.
So
Don't we, Lee?
in the process, you got to go for what you want.
Okay. And then you got to understand, too, this journey is new for him.
Yeah.
You know? And
So there's Muffin again. There's Muffin again pleading the case for Chris and telling Lee, you got to understand, sometimes this process is new for him too. So what she's doing, once again, she's babysitting Lee. She's babysitting Lee because she knows who Lee is. She knows Lee is the type of person who cuts off and discards men quickly and discounts them and says, no, they're not good enough. She knows it. So what she's trying to tell Lee in this moment is, okay, listen right here. He's uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. Give him another chance. Calm down. Don't exit so soon. Don't be so quick to judge him. Don't be so quick to throw him away. Muffin already knows this about Lee. I bet when these two go out all the time, the guys end up liking Muffin more than they like Lee. They might come over to the section, their little VIP section in the booth, because they might like the way that Lee looks, the way she's sitting, the way she's dressing. But once they get over there, they realize she ain't got nothing to talk about. They start talking to Muffin. I already know what goes on when these two go out. And then Lee probably sits over there and gets mad, talking about Lee stole her man. Lee probably sits over there mad with these facial expressions that she gives, where you wonder, what is she thinking? She's just quiet. Her eyes look like they glazed over. They're watery. They're red. They're halfway shut sometimes. What is she thinking? Is anything twirling inside of that head of hers?
yeah, but I commend you for trying to dig deep into Lee and figure out what she's really.
See that look right there? That's the look. That's the look I've been talking about with Lee. It's a look where it looks like, what are you talking about? I don't understand you. It's like she's trying to understand them, but it still seems like it's foreign to her. It's almost like she has to listen really intently to really, really understand it, because I think Lee has a hard time understanding other people's perspective. I think she's self-centered. I'm telling you, I think Lee has an air of arrogance, and she sees a lot of things from her vantage point, but she doesn't see them from other people's vantage point. So here when Chris is talking, I think she is listening very intently. She really is listening because I think it's new to her. I don't think that she ever thought of this idea that, hey, maybe someone else is just as uncomfortable as I am. But yet she doesn't see that in that moment. And immediately what she does is she criticizes and says, oh, I don't know, he's over here giving other people a chance. Girl, that's part of the process. Let's keep going. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. I see. Why did it take that long for you to understand that concept that you're on a dating show and he would be dating multiple people? So your expectation of him not giving other women a chance and that he should just lock in on you and no one else, it sounds ridiculous. Maybe because that's the way she dates. And that's what she ended up doing to Quentin. She locked in on Quentin. She didn't give anybody else a chance. Remember, she was running around telling everybody focus on other people. And guess what? She ended up getting played and used by Quentin. And now when she's sitting over here listening to Chris's explanation of why he didn't just lock in on her, she's like, oh, okay, I get it now. You get it now? Good Lord, is Lee slow? Is Lee slow?
Lee has the cutest personality, But like her man needs to have an aggressive personality, right?
Okay, so she just said that Lee has a cute personality, but her man needs to have an aggressive personality. Okay, I don't know. I'm sure probably Muffin meant assertive, not aggressive, because aggression typically is something that you really need. You may want a man who's assertive, but you don't necessarily always want a man who's aggressive. And maybe the reason why she's saying she needs an assertive man is, like I said before, Lee don't talk. Lee doesn't talk. Lee doesn't express herself. Lee doesn't open up. Lee doesn't volunteer information. Lee doesn't volunteer emotions. She doesn't volunteer anything. So what Muffin is saying is she needs a man that's going to be assertive enough to pull things out of her, pull fun out of her, pull conversation out of her. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. A lot of people want a certain type of mate so they don't have to do no work. A lot of people want that. So instead of Lee developing some communication skill, instead of Lee learning how to have good conversation, being a conversationalist, I think Lee prefers a person who's going to do all that work. That's why she's so heavily relying upon Muffin here. Lee doesn't want to change anything about herself. She doesn't want to become better in these areas. What she wants to do is she wants to put all the work on somebody else. I told you guys in my last video, she complained about everybody else's style of communication when she's the worst communicator. And once again here's her friend Muffin saying she needs a man who's going to be more assertive. Why? Why do you need such an assertive? Why do you need a man that's so aggressive like Muffin? Aggressive? Maybe she means assertive, like I said. But why? Why can't Lee learn to talk? Why can't Lee learn to have a conversation? Why can't Lee learn how to loosen up? Why can't Lee learn to have some fun? Why is everything going to be on her partner to do all those things and then she gets to sit right where she is? That may not even really be the man that she wants. 'Cause I'm telling you, if she really gets a real aggressive man, he's going to run all over her. He's going to run all over her. Why would you pair an aggressive man with a timid person who can barely open up her mouth? That's a horrible combination. A horrible combination. Because he would run all over her. Actually, the man that she needs is probably a man more like Chris. Everybody's running around talking about Chris is timid. Chris is non-assertive and all these other kind of things. I don't know why they're saying that. I don't know what we've even seen on this show that shows that. Besides the fact that he cried over his mother, I haven't seen a situation where Chris has been run over by anybody. I really haven't. So I don't know where people are getting this position from that Chris can't stand up for himself, that when he needs to assert himself, he can't assert himself. Why does everyone have to enter the world all the time, always asserting themselves and being aggressive in every single moment? That's what he didn't like about Jessica. And that's the same thing I don't like about Jessica, there's certain times for certain personalities. You don't always have to lead with your aggressive and assertive personality. There's times when you need to pull that out. It's times when you need to show up as that person. But you don't need to just show up as that person every minute of the day. Just because we've never seen Chris's assertive or aggressive personality doesn't mean that he doesn't have it. I don't understand why people are writing him off. And it almost sounds like right now, Muffin is getting to the point where she's almost about to call him not aggressive enough. Maybe Lee has already told her something and said to him, he's not aggressive enough for me. Maybe that's why she's saying that right now. Because like I said, I remember in the Crystal Exo video, that's what Lee said. Lee said that he wasn't, I don't know if he could be a leader. Why? What makes you think he can't be a leader? I think that he runs his own business. He's got his own company. He's successful in development. Why couldn't he be a leader? If he can lead himself in his own finances, in his own world of success, then that alone is saying that he's out here leading somebody. People are following him. He got employees or people that report to him or people that listen to him. So there's evidence of him being a leader. So I don't know why everybody's sitting on here on this Ready to Love this season saying that Chris is not a leader. There's been no evidence of that. There's been no evidence that he's not a leader. Yet there's been tons of evidence that some of these women are overly assertive and overly aggressive. And there's ton of evidence that Lee is on the opposite end where she needs to be more assertive. She needs to open up her mouth more. She needs to communicate more. I don't know why everybody wants to change from Christopher. It seems like everybody wants to change from Chris, but none of them want to change nothing. Let's keep going.
That's important to me and how I feel in a relationship that a man is a provider and protector.
Okay.
You know, I don't even care if my wife works or not.
Okay.
Look at that look from Lee. I tell you, her looks are, they're looks of smugness. I'm telling you, they're looks of smugness. I think in that look right there, she liked what he was saying. Okay, that jives with what I want. That's what I want. When he said a provider, protector, she was like, yep, that's what I want. And it was a look of agreement that she wanted it. But I'm telling you, her facial expressions, there's a lot going on it's a lot of other thinking going on behind her ears.
You know, because I'm gonna make sure we're good.
Yeah, we're independent girls, but we're princesses, okay? So, not snobby, not bratty.
Princess treatment only.
Princess treatment.
Okay, so she finally opens up her mouth. You know when she opens up her mouth? When her girlfriend says, oh, we're independent women, but we want princess treatment. There go the contradiction out here with so many people out here. So many people got this same contradiction. They want to be treated like princes, but they still want to do everything they want to do. It don't even go together. I don't even know where they get this definition from. Independent princess. Princesses are dependent. Princesses are dependent. They're not independent. That doesn't mean you can't be smart. That doesn't mean you can't be industrious. That doesn't mean you can't be educated. It doesn't mean all those things. But princesses are dependent on people. First of all, they're dependent on the king. They're dependent on the king. But here go Lee over here. For the first time she opens up her mouth, she goes, yeah, princess treatment only. I'm trying. I'm really trying. I'm really trying to stick in there with Lee, but I don't think I can, people. I really don't think I can.
Only, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you can let her think she's bossing sometimes, but I really need that guy to put his foot down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what she needs.
So she said, you can make her think that she's bossing sometime, but I need a guy that's going to put her foot down. Why? Are you telling me that this quietness facade of Lee is a facade? Is that what you're telling me? Are you telling me that she appears to be quiet and meek and mild, but once she's in a relationship, someone's got to put their foot down with her? Is that what we're telling you? Is this all a big act? Is that the part of independent, but a princess? Independent, I want to do what I want to do, but because I need someone to put their foot down, but I want you to treat me like a princess. What's going on with Lee? Who is Lee? Because if Lee is this person she's presented to us, she's meek, she's mild, she doesn't have to talk, she's willing to take a back seat, she's willing to follow, all these kind of things, then why would you need to put your foot down? Why would you need to put your foot down? Because she would be naturally agreeable. I don't know. This is all very confusing to me. And I would imagine it would be very confusing to a man too.
Well, I got an appointment. I got to head out, make some money. I'm trying to put you on the elephant at the wedding.
He said he got to go make some money and put her on the elephant at the wedding. Because you know what? He said, I'm a prince. You could be the princess. Here we go. We're going to put you on top of the elephant and you're going to ride in like a queen.
Muffin likes me. Muffin think I'm a great guy.
All right.
I do. Muffin,
Nice to see you again.
Look at Chris talking about Muffin like me. Muffin think I'm a great guy. Chris definitely likes acceptance. He likes acceptance. He likes people to like him. He puts a lot of effort into making people like him. He really does. A lot of ways he and Lee are alike. I think they are in the visual, the imagery, the picture. They really are into that. They really are into that. And that's why I don't even know if they could make a good couple, because I think they both need so much attention. I don't know if they could give each other that attention. I think the type of attention Chris needs, he needs a woman who's willing to take a back seat to him. And I don't see Lee as a woman who wants to take a back seat. She presents that she's meek and mild, but Lee, I don't believe she wants to take a back seat. I think she wants to be the spotlight. I think she wants to be the spotlight. And I don't know if she would fit well with Christopher, because Christopher would need a woman who would be willing to take the back seat and let him be in the forefront and let him have the spotlight. And I think Lee wants it as well. I think there's a contradiction about Lee. I think Lee tries to present a certain kind of way, but I don't think that's who she is. I really don't.
It's a lot of things that I want to have. It's just that the leadership and him being able to step up and just be that strong male figure in my life. I'm not really sure.
Okay, she just said he fits a lot of things, that he can be the provider for her, but I don't know if he could be that strong leader in my life. How do you know that? How do you know that? And you know what she's basing it off of? She's basing it off the fact that he wasn't aggressive enough in chasing her and pursuing her. That's what she's basing it off of. There's nothing else. They haven't had no in-depth conversations. There's never been no situation where she's tested his assertiveness and if he could lead. She's never given him no project to see if he could get it done, if he could lead the project and do well on it. She's basing it solely off the fact that he didn't chase her aggressively and assertively enough, and that he kept the door open for other women and she didn't like that. That's what she's talking about. That's why she's over there locked in with Quentin, because what Quentin did was Quentin was aggressive. He went in, he chased her or whatever he did. He told other men to stay away from her. He locked in on her. She locked in on him. And look where that's gotten her. I've always told you the most assertive man isn't always the best man. And what she's just done is she's basically said that Chris is an assertive and aggressor and he can't be a leader. All because he didn't chase and knock her door down, and because he's over here dating multiple people, because that's the game. And she's decided, because there's no other evidence. We haven't seen any, unless she can tell us an example of when he had an opportunity to be a leader and he didn't lead. I don't think so. I think the opportunity she's saying to be able to lead was to come at her aggressively and assertively and to lock her down. And he didn't do that. He kept the door open for other women. And so therefore she says he's not a leader. That's not what a leader is. That's not what a leader. No wonder she picks the wrong type of man. Lee picks the man, the first one through the door. She's first come, first serve. If you come with her with a strong, aggressive game, she's going to say yes to you. And that's her problem in picking men. She's actually not looking at the qualities of the man. She's just looking at how that man chases her, because she needs that chase for her own ego. I told you, Lee has an air of arrogance to her. And it really is going to be her downfall. It's going to be her downfall. One is because she's going to choose men the wrong type of way. And when she gets a man, she's not going to be willing to give to that man too much, because she's still going to be thinking she's the queen up here. She's going to be single for a while. She's going to be single for a while if she don't change this about herself. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not with a lot of people out here talking about Lee. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not out here with a lot of people talking about Chris is not assertive enough. I'm not with that, because I haven't seen any besides the fact when he cried over his mom. And I did say he's got some healing to do over that. Maybe he needs to talk about men in therapy. I do believe that. But besides that, I'm not quite sure when people are saying he can't lead. Why are people saying he can't lead? And people are talking about he doesn't have any confidence. I haven't seen that. I have seen Chris have a lot of confidence. I haven't seen a situation where he can't lead. I don't understand how people are saying he can't lead a woman. Let me tell you something. He led that woman that sat up there and became his servant for 2 years. Now, how can you say that he's not assertive and aggressive enough, but then on the other hand, you say he had a whole slave for 2 years? That woman sat up there and said for 2 years she did nothing but serve him, but yet now everybody over here is talking about he's not assertive and aggressive enough. Well, whatever he's enough of, he got a woman to service him for 2 years. 2 years. He was bossing her around. He was bossing her around enough that she sat up there and served him for 2 years and got nothing out of it. But now everybody over here talking about he can't be a leader. I don't know. I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking that he is a leader, but he leads with a quiet walk. He might lead more with a quiet walk, and everybody else over here is used to this toxic leadership where people got to run around and scream, and people got over here and chase you down in the streets and all that aggressiveness, and now that's what we call in leadership. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. Because you stomp through the house or you stomp through life and you bark through life and you make big noises like Quentin does, grumbling in rooms and stalking and coming in like